Hi guys, welcome back. We're not gonna talk about the things you can see around my room right now. My bed's barely made. Also, I am barefaced. I feel like, it's a Saturday, and I just didn't want to do my makeup. I did like a little skincare moment this morning and I don't want to ruin it, so I'm gonna be fresh faced for you guys for this episode. Just wanted to give a life update and then just like yap for a little bit. I feel like obviously it's been a minute. I feel like the last time I uploaded was August and now September's almost over. So, the beginning of school really kicked my ass. I feel like I was going through the motions with internship and was just like getting an idea of how things went because I started in July. So I had like 2 months of just internship and I got into the groove, and then like that added components of school now means that I have no day besides the weekends to just like chill out, which sucks a little bit, but it took me about a month to adjust. And I made sure to front load a lot of my classes, so like I'm doing a lot of like presentations and papers at the beginning of the semester, so I kind of have the rest of the semester to chill out for a little bit. So I'm getting like towards the tail end of kind of all of the chaos of this semester. And wow, right on time for the Widener bell to go off. If you guys can hear that, we'll have a little moment here. Period. This is how you know it's 2 p.m. Ready? And scene. Anyways, but yeah, it's been a hot minute and I apologize for that. But also, like, hey, I'm a grad student and I'm trying to defend my dissertation a whole year early. And I've been doing a lot of work. I've been grinding hard on these papers and presentations and projects, and hope that you haven't missed me too much. But yeah, also my hair is still in braids, but I'm hoping to get my hair done probably like this week. I've had braids in since like June. Not the same ones, obviously. Like I change them up every somewhere between 3 weeks to a month usually. But yeah, life is just life in right now. But I'm here. Also, I feel like a lot of my podcast episodes so far have been like me talking about specific topics. And I was like, have I run out of artists to talk about? Like, these don't have to be me doing like really hard think pieces about an artist every time. And so I want to take that pressure off, and just kind of like come with an idea to yap about each time. And so now that I've kind of gotten all of the life update stuff out of the way, I kind of had like a weird. Okay, first of all, it's fall, obviously. The leaves are changing, the leaves are falling. It's feeling very ha ha ha. And ooh, set my soul alive. It's giving very that. It's giving very Twilight. I have already watched all of the Twilight movies. I think literally the last month, nope, the last week of August or the first week of September, my bestie Taylor and I watched all the Twilight movies in 1 week. I had the urge. I woke up at like the ass crack of dawn this morning, and I have like one little thing to do at like 7 p.m. and I was like, the Twilight movies take about 10 hours in total to watch all the way through. I have 10 hours before I do this activity that's being hosted over at my place anyway, so I don't have to go anywhere. Do I watch all the Twilight movies all the way through on this lovely Saturday? But no, alas, I was like, let me not do that. Even though it is very Twilight outside, I feel like for the past 4 days, because of that storm that's in the US, like, we've been getting hit. I'm also afraid because, like, over the past 4 or 5 days, the city of Chester, where I'm at, has been, like, losing power. every like couple of hours it'll just like go off for like 5 to 10 minutes and then it'll come back on. So I'm like confused right now. I started this recording this at a time where I'm hoping that the lights stay on, but we'll see. But yeah, it's just like a nice little fall vibe. Um, but also it's like really sticky and damp. Which like I love the rain, but also like for it to be like this twilight blue filter for the past like week has been kind of depressing. It's giving I should be Bella in New Moon when she's depressed and in the chair like it's a possibility. I'm literally like sitting in my chair right now and I want to like put my knees up and just sit there and let the camera rotate around me. Um, but yeah, nothing really else is happening besides like school and internship. Nothing really in my personal life. I mean, I'm always boy crazy and there's always something going on in my mind, but just don't have the time or the energy or the capacity for all that. Unless some really iconic, submissive, and breedable, liberal man just comes along and is like the light of my life. I'm good. I've been single for 25 years. I think I can keep that going. I feel pretty confident in myself. I'm very independent, especially because I'm an only child. Actually, I was texting a friend earlier this morning because like I woke up too early and then like I just was doing a lot of stuff and I was like, man, if I had somebody sleeping next to me, like that would not be feasible. Like I really enjoy having my own space. Oh my god, I need my own space. Um, or maybe it's just like I need my own space like when I wake up and when I go to bed. You know what I mean? I just could not see somebody else like infiltrating that space when I like because like for example, I woke up too early this morning and so then my stomach didn't know how to handle that and I got nauseous. And I was like, and I hate throwing up. I literally, whenever I'm nauseous, you will never see me throwing up. However, I might go to the bathroom and have the water running and try to poop everything out for like 30 minutes straight while I'm on like Twitter or TikTok. And maybe like two little pebbles will come out and like that's it. And then my stubby will still hurt and I'll come back here and lay horizontally and then be nauseous again. So yeah, I can't imagine like having somebody else there while I'm like psychologically trying not to like puke. Because I hate puking and you'll never catch me puking. I don't know why I just went on because like yeah, having a partner throughout all that would be like too much. I'd be like, no, I just woke up and my stomach hurts. Like I don't want you in my space. The funny thing too is I was able to roll over to the side of my bed that has the nightstand and I grabbed a large Baja Blast off of my nightstand from Taco Bell and I took a sip or two and my stomach felt just fine. But then I had to fart like 10 times. It's like, first of all, this is TMI for you guys, but like, second of all, like, why would I want a partner to be there during that whole charade that lasted like a solid hour and a half? Random thoughts with Shayla, but no, I'm very content with myself in this time because I don't want to change that routine. I mean, I didn't want to wake up early in the first place, but like if that needs to happen, I don't want someone else there, even if I do love them. Like I don't want you there. Leave me alone for a second. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the idea that I was going to come with today was this is really stupid. I was thinking about how many movies and shows out there are all about racism. Like, they're all allegories for racism or prejudice. I need you to hear me out. Like, and it's like all of my favorite things, too. Like, Shrek. Shrek is literally about racism. All four of the movies. Where Shrek's just like, people look at me and they think I'm some big, stupid, ugly ogre. And he has to deal with that for 4 more movies, or 3 more movies if you just count him saying that in the first one. Like, all of Shrek is just an allegory for racism and how humans were so freaking mean. And then I'm thinking about, like, I just mentioned Twilight. Like, it may not be racism specifically, but it is, like, prejudice. And it is giving, like, race war. Like, it's always been vampires versus werewolves. And the times that they talk smack about each other. Have y'all seen the deleted scene? Is it from Breaking Dawn Part 1? Where, like, Bella's hella pregnant and Jacob's there to, like, comfort her, but also, like, low-key talk her out of it, even though he can't. Um, and like Rosalie literally gives Jacob, the werewolf, a dog bowl to eat out of. That's crazy. Also, have y'all ever peeped how Jacob calls the vampires bloodsuckers? But like not just how, like not just because he says it, but the way that he says it. It's giving a hard R. He's like, those bloodsuckers. I'm like, you're supposed to be Native American. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Um, those filthy bloodsuckers. Or even like, oh, now that I said that, I'm thinking about Harry Potter. Also, R.I.P. Maggie Smith. You're a legend. The way that Draco Malfoy says mudblood. Hello? That's a slur. That's a slur. That's a slur. You're like literally every word that comes out of Draco Malfoy's mouth, especially when he was younger and he's talking about Potter and talking about like the Weasleys and just saying mudblood, like he's so, I mean literally like his whole, he just grew up believing in like pure blood supremacy. Like that's his whole persona, that's his whole demeanor. So yeah, I don't know, I've just been like thinking about it. Or even like the Bee movie, and like it portrays like this prejudice and discrimination and stereotypes against bees. And then you find out, like, you know, as a kid when you're watching it, you're like, what the hell is going on? But also it's like, no, this is honestly a really important conversation we need to have because we need to start saving the bees. And then like the whole Save the Bees movement happened, and like now I think there's too many bees, question mark. But you know, just very strange. I've been having a lot of thoughts about these things. I'm trying to think of like other movies and shows that are just like, hey, racism, prejudice, it's not good. These people are just like you. But it's like not making it about actual people is what I'm trying to say. Like if it's ogres and humans, it can be vampires and werewolves, it can be bees and humans, but God forbid we explicitly say that racism is bad. Like it's so, I mean racism like against human races is bad. Like it's just so interesting. Like all of those kids show, or like, oh my God, okay, for the first time ever I watched Zootopia. And I was like, first of all, ACAB. And also, I just want to point out that Judy Hopps, the fact, what's his name? Nick Wilde? Am I thinking of the right thing? The fox? The fact that Nick Wilde forgave Judy Hopps in like 30 seconds after she sprung on those white girl tears, or those white women tears of being like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was being so racist. I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me? Bitch, let her deal with that white guilt. Let her sit there and feel ashamed and then actually put in the work to be better. Then you can forgive her. Why are we forgiving her so quickly? This bitch is a cop. She's a cop. She's sitting there being like, I'm going to make the world great. And I'm gonna make everything better. And then she herself has her own implicit biases, and she needs a second to sit with those and be aware and deal with those feelings. Don't just do that, have that one scene, and then be like, everyone's fine, and now Nick Wilde's a cop and everything's fine. What are we doing? It ended with Nick Wilde being a cop was crazy. I was like, no. And you know what the freaking cherry on top was that godforsaken 2016 Shakira song that I completely forgot about because it was made for that movie. The I heard that and I literally felt my soul leave my body on my couch. I was like, oh right, it's that movie. So yeah, Zootopia, interesting. Also, Oh, okay. I'm thinking of two things that are literally the same. Hear me out. So you know how Lenny from Shark Tales is vegetarian? Like Lenny as in like the he's played by Jack Black. He's the voice actor, right? And he's like the big great white shark, but he's like the son who befriends Oscar. Anyways, the fact that like Lenny was no, because Lenny being a vegetarian, if you watch Shark Tale back, if you watch it back, Lenny being vegetarian and waiting to come out to his father about being a vegetarian and hiding it for so long, and then when he comes out as a little dolphin, as a little facade, tell me that is not literally an allegory for coming out as gay. I'm not joking. Like I'm being so serious. Go back, watch Shark Tale. You're gonna be like, oh my god, yes, this is literally like this is queer coded in like the in a different way. I'm not saying it like it's queer. You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me? Lenny? Lenny being vegetarian and now he's in the closet. Like, what are we doing? Literally. Okay, but I think Lenny being vegetarian is the same energy as that like little prince boy who's like supposed to be king in Trolls not liking the taste of trolls. Same energy. Same energy. Also, like obviously there's some stereotypes and there's some racism there too between like the fish and the sharks because they end up just being together. They end up being together and they live in harmony. And they all go to the car wash together and Missy Elliott and Christina Aguilera have their moment at the end. Woo, yeah! Car wash. This is a Missy Elliott production. Like, what are we doing? Also, I know that Brittany Broski talked about this, but that soundtrack is extremely good. And that one song with Justin Timberlake where it's like, get on the good foot. Meow. Hey, ooh. It's so good. And I forgot about that, so thank you, Brittany. She's not gonna hear this or listen to this. What am I talking about? I'm really just yapping, but I like now off the dome, I'm like thinking about so many. There was one I was just about to say. Oh, and the like the whole thing of like the trolls being cute and them being the source of like happiness when like that was just some random like myth and stereotype from way back when, and like that there are some of those, what are the little gremlin monster things called, how like some of them don't even like trolls, like they don't even like to eat them, they don't taste good, whatever. Like let that be okay, like don't hide that. You know what else I watched, because it's almost October. Also, yes, I did just do a little movement and I burped, so sorry if you heard that. It was a little gurgly. Hold on, I'm getting there. Oh my god. Okay, wait, sorry. Okay, I have so many thoughts right now. What was the one I was gonna say? Oh, because it's getting towards Halloween time, and I watched Halloween Town on this past Wednesday. And once again, every single movie is about racism or white supremacy in some way. Like literally in the first Halloween Town movie, Calabar is like, we have been banished as monsters in Halloween Town, and it's time that we start a war and infiltrate, this other universe that has all the humans in it, and just like become the like superiors. Like we can make them bow down to us, so why don't we do that? Hello? And then like the whole thing is like he had a thing for Marnie's mom, Gwen, and literally because Gwen, the witch, chose to fall in love with and get married and have children with a human, he's like, you freaking human scum, you half witch, half human dirtballs, to the kids. And I'm like, ew, that's giving witch supremacy or warlock supremacy, whatever you want to call it. And it's like gross. And then the whole tea is that in the second movie, Calabar's Revenge, his son comes back and does this whole side plot to romance Marnie just so that. Hold on, ice cream truck. Anyways, yeah, the whole I hope you guys can actually hear these noises and I'm not just editing this out because that was funny to me. Calabar's Revenge, yes. And Cal like goes through this whole subplot to like romance Marnie just so he can get some information so that he can literally turn every human into monsters. Like, I get it in this case that the monster, the citizens of Halloween Town, I don't want to call them monsters. The citizens of Halloween Town have literally been cast out and pushed out, and they've had to deal with being in their own little town for forever. Or at least like in the medieval times, because yeah, that lore is awesome, by the way. I love Halloween Town lore. I should do a whole podcast about Halloween Town, actually. I might. There's something specifically about the Halloween Town movies and Twitches and Monster House. You know what? I'm going to do a whole podcast episode in October that's just about the Halloween movies that I grew up with and why like I love them on such like a psychological level. Like there are so many. Oh god, I get chills. Okay, anyways. But yeah, and then it's just all about like, you know, we've been discriminated against and there's been so much prejudice that like we're actually going to make you guys turn into the things that you fear, which is us. Boo, bitch. And like honestly, I'm not mad at that. Like I'm not mad, but it is wrong. Like, yeah, I don't know. I have nothing to like compare it to, right? Like there's no humans that are like, now we're gonna turn you into the thing you fear most. Like that's kind of wild. That's like a little drastic. Like you could definitely protest, right? But like I think that changing literally the way that someone like changing who someone is and turning them into something is like a little different. That's a pretty bold move. Anyways, I feel like this has got a little political. But then, speaking of political, Halloween Town High, the third movie, gets extremely political, and Marnie is literally like, integration! Like, literally, it's integration. Like, they were segregated, and now she's like, we're gonna do a little test run, and we're gonna have all of these kids from Halloween Town come over into my normal, human high school, and integrate them and see what happens. And it almost falls through because there's somebody on the board who is literally a white supremacist and it's like, we don't want these kinds mixing together. We have to show them that we are evil so this doesn't happen because we don't want this. And then, in the last movie, everybody's mad at Marnie because, like, a lot of the citizens of Halloween Town who go to, like, you know, the colleges in Halloween Town are like, we can't use all of our powers because it would be a disadvantage for, you know, those who don't have those powers. What? Because now there's multiracial humans running around and multiracial monsters? Like, what are we doing? Like, why are you blaming? I don't know. It's just, there's so, like, when I tell you the Halloween Town is inherently political, it cracks me up. And I eat it up every time. But then I'm like, Shayla, why are you reliving trauma vicariously through like Marnie fighting for her life like she's just biracial. She's literally just one biracial girl trying to figure out and solve racism. That is literally the plot of all the Halloween Town movies, and I eat it up every time. Also, I wish that she could have stuck with being with Luke the whole time, because they had a little romance in the first one, and then they had a little thing going on in the second one, even though Cal wanted to jump her bones, but like he didn't actually. He ended up being evil. I wish that in the third one, that same actor and like Luke could have stayed. That would have been so great, because then like she moved on to being with Ethan in the third one. No, Ethan's in the fourth one. Who was Finn Wittrock? Who was Finn Wittrock in the third one? Whatever his name was. Like, she just had two random freaking love interests in the third and fourth one. And I was like, where are we, what are we doing? And the fact that like Lucas Grabeel as Ethan was in the third one but wasn't the love interest, and then all of a sudden he was in the fourth one. Also, I know I'm like not addressing the elephant in the room at the fact that like Sarah Paxton ended up being Marnie in the last one. Um I frankly, I'm not mad at that. Like the fact that every other like actor stayed to comprise their roles and to continue their roles, and then I guess the actress or whatever was told by Disney execs that she was just too old, which is like pretty fucked up, I'm not gonna lie. But the fact that yeah, Miss Aquamarine herself was like, I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna be Marnie and you're not gonna be mad about it. And you know what? I'm still not to this very day. She ate that. I actually love her as Marnie, and dare I say, the last movie is my favorite one, and I love those movies. The fact that it all like it's so the lore and the history of Halloween Town, the way that they weave it all in, and the way that like Splendora Agatha Cromwell like has her whole moment, like oh, I need it. I needed it. Like when I lore. I also really want some sort of prequel about like Gwen and like her growing up and like falling in love with her husband. Um and like the tea between her and Cal, like I would eat that up. Also, I want a little prequel moment of Splendora Agatha Grandma Aggie, if you will. I want like lore about her in the medieval times, because I don't know if y'all peeped it, but like in the first and second one, I think she alludes to like King Arthur a few times, and I'm like, did Artie want you, babe? Because I'm not gonna lie, Grandma Aggie and Arthur, A and A, that'd be kind of cute, and I'm kind of here to figure out the vibes. Also, you gotta think about how her daughter's name is Gwen. Gwen. If you're thinking about King Arthur times, did I just crack a code? Is this something that's been said before, or am I like, isn't Guinevere like a whole name for the King Arthur? Like, weren't they? Wait, did we never? There was never any talk on Gwen's father, aka Grandma Aggie's husband, or at least the baby daddy. I don't think they ever were together. Wait, wait. Because that's kind of crazy. Aggie and then King Arthur, and they have a daughter named Gwen. I wouldn't be upset with that. Wait, okay, I need like whoever made the Halloween Town movies, I need them to like confirm or deny. This is crazy lore. If that's actually canon, that would be insane, and I just never thought about it until now. The ice cream truck is back. I got some ice cream from that truck a week ago, and it was really good soft serve. I love Mr. Softy. I love Mr. Softy. I don't want to come king. If y'all know that reference, good for you. It's from American Horror Story. It's Sarah Paulson. I think it's when she's the character that has two heads, and there's like this reporter guy who's like feeding her. No, she might not have two heads. I might be wrong. I can't remember if it's Freak Show or Asylum, or I could be wrong. But it's like someone trying to feed her a cupcake, and she goes, "I don't want a cupcake." And I don't know why that's like still a vocal stem for me to this very day, even though it's been like a solid decade. God, I feel like I've talked about so much. Are there any other movies, TV that I'm thinking of? If you can think of others, put them in the comments, because like aren't there just so, especially like the animated ones or ones that like aren't about like human to human stuff? Let me know. Like I genuinely find this phenomenon so interesting. It's like, and all of them are like kids movies too, even if they're like very adult coded like Shrek, because like, you know, those movies were not for kids. But yeah, I don't know, there's just like there's so many movies that I watched growing up that were like, you know, everything is not what it seems. Like you can't just judge people based off of how they look or like the stereotypes that you know, because people end up being different, or things and creatures end up being different. And it's like, okay, not the woke mob getting a hold of me at the ripe old age of like 4. I'm joking. Um, yeah, I don't know. I wanted to go on a little rant about that, I guess. Kind of crazy that I feel like I might have cracked a code about Halloween Town, though, that I have never processed until now. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know. I mean, like, even in Twitches, where it's like the people who live in Coventry but like don't have magic are like second class citizens and have to be servants. That's crazy that they just put that in there and then like it wasn't really addressed after that. Like, what are we doing? Sorry, I don't know what that noise was for. I just have so many thoughts and I feel like I'm talking so quickly. So apologies for that. But yeah, I don't know what else has been I've been thinking about that's been like grinding my gears. I'm trying to think. I feel like I want to like make some blanket statements about men because it's been on my mind recently. I mean, I already kind of talked about the whole thing of like I'm comfortable being independent right now because I've been independent my whole life. Um but also like the dating pool, guys, guys, guys. It's gotten so bad. I cannot stand small talk. As someone who is a therapist and talks to people for a living, the amount of guys that have come into my life, and I mean like situationship kind of vibes, but also sometimes like friendships that are kind of just flirty, but aren't necessarily like situationships. You know, the flirtationships between, okay, flirtationships and situationships. Two different things in my head. Okay, okay. I feel like there's a fine line between them where it's like we're flirting, but we both know it's just platonic, and then it's like we're flirting and it's not platonic, but we're not gonna do anything about it because that's weird. There have been a lot of guys over the past like 5 years of my life, I want to say, that have just like come in, and then I feel like I am their therapist. And then when I help them through whatever they're going through, they're like, all right, sayonara, support our troops. I'm like, what are we doing? Hey, was I just used? Perhaps, perchance, was I just used? This is interesting. I don't know why I just did the whole, I have never done that in my life. I have never attempted to do like the, hi, hey, huh? That whole anime thing. I'm sorry. I apologize. But no, seriously, I don't know why that happens. I feel like I have, not to say that I have good boundaries, period, but I think that I can understand, excuse me, I can understand when I'm on the clock and when I'm like therapizing someone, if you will. I don't like to say psychoanalyzing because people, I hate when I'm like, yeah, I'm getting a doctorate in clinical psychology and they're like, don't psychoanalyze me! Don't psychoanalyze me! What if I get a gun? I have a gun. I have a bomb. I have a gun. I'm shoving it up your hoo-ha and I'm pushing the trigger. You know? So when I'm therapizing, right, it's not the same as when I'm just talking with a friend and I'm being genuine and open and honest, right? Like, those are different things. But I feel like sometimes when it comes to guys, that is what happens. I don't feel that way with my girlies, even though we do have in-depth stuff. But I think that's because when I'm talking with my girlies, it's two-sided, it's mutual, like we talk things out, right? Like, and like we both come to each other with different things. I feel like sometimes with guys, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Because I feel like it's still pretty mutual with my guy friends as well. But there are some times where it's like, I think it's the fact that, like, hold on. Can I help you? I think it's the fact that, like, for the girlfriends, like, we'll always be in each other's lives. And we still keep up with each other, even if, like, we live far apart or, like, we aren't, like, close, but like we find ways to communicate throughout the week. I feel like with a lot of guys that have like come into my life and leave, like they literally drop off the face of the earth and they never speak to me again. And I'm like, yeah, that's different. That's why it's different. Because I'm like, we can have this mutual thing, but even then, with women, I feel like it's more mutual and it's like 50-50. Like we're both kind of sharing the space and being able to talk things out. But with a lot of the guys, I feel like it is about 70-30, maybe 80-20, and I'm like really holding a space, but then also like I guess my voice is heard, but I'm really just more in like the helping range than like being helped or supported, if that makes sense. Like I feel like a lot of the times when I'm talking with women, I'm talking with them. But when I'm talking with men, I feel like sometimes I'm being talked at. And that's a whole nother can of worms that we're not going to get into because that is just systemic issues that I cannot solve by myself. But I know that this is a common experience with women. And just wanted to put that out there that like, you know, even when I get myself into like little situationships that I'm like, hey, this could be something. I just end up being their therapist, and then they kick me out to the side of the road. Womp womp. And then just like, and the whole thing is like, I know that I was just like, I love being independent, yada, yada, yada. I am such a hopeless romantic. Like, I don't know, especially, like, when I look back like a decade ago, so cringy. I cannot think about how deeply I felt things and how it sounds so sad. I would cry myself to sleep like fairly often because I was so lonely. I felt so alone. And maybe some of that would have been like combated if I had had siblings, right? Like just people that you can like people your own age that you live with that you can talk with and like still be like physically affectionate but not in like a romantic way. Like maybe some of that would have helped, but like God, this just got so vulnerable. Yeah, I don't know. Like I was so like I wanted to be in love and be loved so deeply. In like middle school and high school, I was like, I want my high school sweetheart. Like, meh, meh, meh. And I feel like there's still like a little part of me, like little Shayla, who's like, I want to be loved, and I know that I am worth it, and I deserve love. And also on top of that, that opportunity has not presented itself. But like that has nothing to say with me and who I am as a person. I am fantastic. Like, I'm good looking. I've got a good personality. I've got a good head on my shoulders. And I would be a good partner. I just know I would be. Besides all the things that I said earlier about how, like, I don't think I can handle somebody being in bed with me in the morning, I think that's, like, a valid thing to say and, like, a pretty okay thing to say as someone who's been independent their whole life and has never had to sleep in the same room with someone. I think that's, like, an okay fear to have, if that makes sense. But, yeah, I know. It would be nice to have someone, and for someone to have me. I'll put it that way. Yeah. But also, you know, I do think that, like, when I was younger, I was like, it's all my fault. It's because I'm ugly and disgusting and I'm worthless and I hate myself. But now I'm like, actually, I'm that bitch. And I'm getting a degree in clinical psychology, like a doctorate. I already have my master's. I'm going to get my doctorate. And I'm going to infiltrate the criminal justice system all by myself. And I'm really funny, and I'm really smart, and I'm really hot. And nobody wants me because they're intimidated. Because the other thing, too, is it's like, I know that I've always been like, I'm busy. My work-life balance goes crazy. My social life, crazy. The amount of times that I have hosted things over my place for people. So the thing, and also, like, I have so many long distance friendships that I keep up with and maintain quite regularly. Like I have a social life, and like it's like if I care about you, I will make the time for you. And so it's not even like, oh, I'm busy, I don't have the time for a relationship. I do. I do. I could make it work. I do. Um just yeah, it hasn't presented itself. Not in the way that it needs to for things to work out. I know that might sound like, oh, you're being picky, but I'm not being picky. I could go through the whole. There have been times where I've been into the person, but they haven't been into me, or I was into the person, they weren't into me, I got over them, and then months later they tell me they were into me at some point, but now they're in a relationship. That has happened multiple times. Or they're into me, I'm not into them, and that's okay. Um, it's never fully lined up. Just never has lined up. Um, I'm 25. I'm going through life, having a little quarter life crisis, and I'm not living to 100. Who am I kidding? But like a solid third of the life way through crisis, and I'm like, I've never been in a relationship. Interesting. Or my first kiss was my bestie Eva. If you're listening to this, I'm putting a little heart right here for you. Just a little smooch, a little pecker on the lips for my 25th birthday, because I was like, hey, I've never been kissed, so let me just get this out of the way and do a quick little peck with somebody who knows me, who I trust, who's not gonna judge me if my breath stinks, or if, like, I don't know, my teeth are in the way somehow from a peck. I don't know. And it was fine. I also felt nothing, which was very funny. Also, Eva, sorry if you're listening to this and I'm like, yeah, I kissed Eva and I felt nothing. I don't mean it like that. It'd be kind of crazy if I was like, and I felt something. Eva, if you're watching this. No. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm here and I'm waiting, and like the waiting is taking forever, but I'm trying to be patient, and I'm sick and tired of those people who are like, when I met my partner, I wasn't even looking. Oh, darling, it'll happen when you least expect it. I'm not expecting anything. I'm not. Like, when I tell you that I've tried dating apps, I've tried Tinder, I've tried Bumble, I've tried Hinge, the small talk makes me want to blow my brains out, and I mean that in like the nicest way possible. I can't do it anymore. Like I said, I talk to people for a living, and I build rapport. I build therapeutic relationships for a living, and I don't want to have to make it feel like, once again, a guy that I'm talking to is one of my clients. I don't want to have to like do that. And I feel like sometimes that is what happens. Like, I don't want my work life to reflect with my social life, and I think, or my romantic life, and I think that's like a huge part of it. Where it's like, I don't want to be pulling all the weight and then we're building rapport like I'm your therapist and you're my client, or vice versa. Like, no, I want it to be like a mutual, just we happen to get to know each other somehow and we start vibing and then things happen. And that's why I'm such a friends to lovers girly, or even like a fake enemies to lovers. Don't get me started on that. And I mean fake enemies, like not like I actually hate you, but like we hate each other. I fear that eats so hard. But yeah, like friends to lovers excellence all the way, which in that case, I'm really not looking. Like, when I tell you that I've deactivated and like offloaded all those dating apps, and I'm just kind of like out and about in the wild. And like there have been times where I've been like, oh, here's a mutual friend. And then it just doesn't work out. So like, it is what it is. I'm just taking it day by day, and the right person will come when they come. And then I'll come. Sorry, it was right there. I apologize. If my parents are watching this. You know what? I'm not sending this one to my parents, actually. If church people and family members find this one, hey, Y'all are learning way too much about me. Um, that maybe you didn't need to know, but it's fine. And I feel like that's kind of, I don't know why, just also I love how like crazy. Hold on. For the past like week and I was sick last week, like to the point that like my nose was like clogged and I had a lot of mucus. I had like a postnasal drip situation. I still have mucus that's like right in the back of my throat. And if I talk for too long, or if like I can feel the phlegm, I start to gag. I almost just threw up. I've been gagging, which is like my worst nightmare. Like I said, I hate throwing up. You will never catch me throwing up. Hold on. Ugh. I almost just threw up. Okay. Well, I just gagged on mucus, and I wonder why I'm single. Anyways, yeah, that was a crazy trajectory. I don't know how I talked about life updates to talking about allegories for racism and prejudice, and then my non-existent love life. Love these little rants with you guys. If you guys can relate to any of these things, or if you can think of other shows and movies that are like, hey kids, racism is bad. I'm Trashy the Trash Can. Let me know. Also, last little reference there. I'm Trashy the Trash Can is from one specific episode of Good Luck Charlie. I'm not joking. And it's still in my prefrontal cortex. Like it just sits there and it's ready to go. Like every time that I say something and I'm like, mar, 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 which happens a lot because I put on little voices when I'm feeling a little silly, a little quirky. I always say, Trashy the Trash Can. You want some candy, kids? I think there was like, okay, it's an episode where I think different family members are trying to find ways to like win over some kids for some sort of competition or something. And instead of like doing something that makes sense, the mom comes out and dresses up as a trash can and is like, I'm Trashy the Trash Can, and like bribes the kids with candy and like low-key cheats a little bit to get the kids on her side. And for some reason, like that stays with me. Trashy the Trash Can. Also say very often, I am a dirt bag. And that is from Over the Hedge. I feel like saying dirt bag and trash can kind of like go hand in hand. Yeah, they like made a fake Dr. Phil clip for the Over the Hedge movie when RJ the raccoon is going through the stations with the universal remote, and I think about that very often. I feel like I need to just start doing like reaction YouTube videos where I sit and I watch something and I just provide commentary because it's about time. Like, I know that there are so many commentary channels out there, and you're probably like, oh my god, we don't need another one. But, like, I have so many things to say about so many movies that I've watched so many times. And the funny thing, too, is, like, I've watched a lot of movies, like, solidly over 40 or 50 times. Like, I'm the type of person that will go rewatch a movie, like, multiple times a year. And every time I watch it, even when I'm alone, or like when I'm with someone else and we're just like watching something, I'll be like, I never noticed that before. Like every time that I watch Shrek, I notice something different, which is insane to say, because I've seen that movie. I feel like I watch it like once every 2 to 3 months. So imagine almost 20 years, and then so 12. Hold on, 3. So 20 times 4. That's a lot of times that I've seen Shrek, and every time I'm like, I've never peeped that actually. Like, that's weird. I just think I would be a good reaction person. I feel like I have a lot of fun things. Also, I've been like playing a lot of Phasmophobia recently, and I really do think that I could be a streamer if I just put my mind to it. I think why I'm hesitant about it is because I don't have the bandwidth or the energy or the time to really figure out how Twitch works. I guess I could just stream on YouTube. Why move platforms when I could just be on YouTube? Yeah, that's tea. You know what? To all of the people that watch these and are in my Discord stuff, um, would y'all watch my stuff? Would y'all be my little test bunnies? Like, instead of me streaming things so you guys can watch us play Phasmophobia on Discord, would y'all be down to, like, test things out with me and, like, we do a little Phasmophobia lobby and I stream it on YouTube and you watch that way? Like, would you, like, I kind of want to try that out. I might get, like, a little posse of people, like, my friends, and, do a little something, something. See if that works out. Because that would be tea. That would be such tea. Oof. Okay. I think I have some ideas. I also have, like, some actual TikTok videos. Sorry, not TikTok. Even though I am still posting on TikTok with my songs and such and so forth. I just posted one today, actually. I have some YouTube videos kind of lined up. There's this place that's called, like, Joe's or Dave's or something, hot chicken. Oh, Hangry Joe's. Apparently they have a level of chicken that's so hot that you have to sign a waiver so you can get it, because it really might cause some issues. On a weekend where I have nothing else to do, my plan is to, like, print out those, like, you know, those old multiplication, like, times table worksheets. I'm gonna fill one out, time myself. It'll be like a little science experiment. I'll time myself doing that completely with no other, like, I'll be sober, I'll be whatever. I go through it. And then I'm gonna eat that hot chicken that I gotta sign a waiver for, and then try to do multiplication and just see what happens. I also want to do a trauma candy salad video. I'm sure you've seen those TikToks that were happening over the summer where people would be like, "Hi, I'm Olivia, and when I was 7, my uncle touched me inappropriately, and I brought Sour Patch Kids." I want to do that one because I have, like, a list already. I just have to go get the candy. And then, honestly, I'm wondering if I could do, like, a Google form thing where I ask people to just, like, anonymously send me, like, the worst dates that they've been on, and then I can, like, analyze them and kind of, like, sparse it apart and, like, figure out, like, what went wrong and why it went wrong. Kind of like my own little, like, am I the asshole Reddit stuff, but only about bad dates. And I just really dive into it. And I also want to do a Guess the Song part 2. I feel like I could continue to do Hosier. I want to do Pentatonics. I could probably do some Panic at the Disco, some more 5 Sauce and 1D as well. So I have a lot of thoughts and I have a lot of ideas. It's just been executing them that's been a problem because I've just been so gosh darn busy. But come, like, mid-October, I'm gonna be ready to go. So I'll keep you guys updated with that. And thanks for being here and for still listening and tuning in, even though it's been a hot second. All right. Love you guys. Bye.
A little bit dangerous, but baby, that's how I want it. A little less conversation and a little more touch my body. 'Cause I'm so into you, into you.